Racing on Saturday takes place out at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth with an incredible 9-race program to look forward to, with 5 graded races on the day, 2 grade 1s, 2 grade 2s and 1 grade 3, and we've got 9 races to get through. And joining me on the line is Graham Hawkins. Graham, how are you doing?
All good, thank you, Rahil. What a fabulous day's racing to look forward to, and the weather is certainly playing ball. The forecast has it mid-20s at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Not too much wind about. Superb day. The blue and white will be all over Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, and we look forward to what will be a sensational day's racing, and of course boosted by the fact that we have a R1 million pick 6 carryover.
Yeah, most definitely that pick 6 will be one that many punters will look to get involved in. Likely pool of 5 million rand there. Race number 1, 25 past 12, the off time, 1,000 meters the distance. This is Dickens Stakes, and there's some nice horses on show here. They race for a gross stake of 400,000 rand, so some nice money on offer as well. And number 5, Black Cheetah, tops the boards at 9 to 10. Number 1, Claire de Lune, who was all the rage on debut, is at 33 to 10. Number 7, Orbit at 9 to 2. Parental Guidance 9 to 2. It's then 12 to 1 and better bar those. Now, Graham, before we get your thoughts on this race, I'm a bit surprised to see this horse Parental Guidance training at 9 to 2 after what I thought was quite an encouraging performance to win on debut.
Parental Guidance really caught my eye on debut, winning well related by Karari. A half-brother to Proceed, who was a grade 1 winning 2-year-old of last season. But you have to respect, I guess, the fact that Richard Ferree, who rode Parental Guidance then, has decided to stick with number 5, Black Cheetah. This was priced up at around 14 to 10 at one stage, but there's been a flood of money, and the market is often accurate as to what to expect with these 2-year-old races. All of them unexposed, all of them open to huge improvement. As you said, I think this is a nice field of 2-year-olds that can continue to be followed through the coming months. So it's not easy to nail your colours to the mast because there are different form lines coming into the race, but Black Cheetah certainly has the measure of call of the Karoo based on their performances on the 23rd of November. So one has to respect the fact that Richard Ferree sticks with number 5, Black Cheetah. One has to respect the fact that there's strong anti-post market support for number 5, Black Cheetah. So I guess he is the one to go with. But like you, I was very taken with the debut performance of number 3, Parental Guidance, coming out of a different form line. Only had the one start, one well, could be open to huge improvement, and I wouldn't be surprised. The betting is not always spot on, and jockeys don't always get it right, so I certainly wouldn't be surprised if number 3, Parental Guidance, was to land up in the winner's enclosure. Claire de Lune and Orbit renew rivalry. They met on debut. Orbit beat Claire de Lune by a very narrow margin. As you say, Claire de Lune, who's the full sister to Triple Fortune, was solidly back to make a winning debut, failed by only a neck, so there should be very little to choose between numbers 1, Claire de Lune, and number 7, Orbit. They did meet over 1,000 meters. Glencotton's Spare, Malmesbury Missile, and Call of the Karoo look to be held, but they're nice horses in the making and can be followed within the next couple of starts. So I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to number 5, Black Cheetah. I say benefit of the doubt, he could be something special, but all the signs point to him being the one to beat.
Yeah, that's race number 1, number 5, Black Cheetah at 9 to 10. But number 3, Parental Guidance, he'll certainly have a say in the outcome at 9 to 2. We move along to race number 2 next. This is a Cape B Stakes over 1,000 meters. 1 o'clock is the off time, and it is a start of the exotics. The bipod gets underway here. Your favorite is number 13, Tenango, at 2 to 1. Kelp Forest has found a bit of support, 9 to 2 into 7 to 2. Cork Bear at 8 to 1. Handsome Prince at 10 to 1. It is then 12 to 1 and better bar those. Now this horse, Tenango, he was narrowly denied victory last time out by Elusive Winter, who he had to concede 7.5 kgs to, beaten under half a length. And Graham is a horse that I remember you went for 2 starts back, and you were in his camp last time out when he was beaten into second. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him bounce back to winning ways in a race of this nature.
Tenango must straight the one to beat. If he was drawn on the far side of the track, we have seen evidence of track bias at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth recently down the straight. It's certainly been an advantage to be drawn towards the far running rail, in other words, the low numbers. Tenango does possess good gate speed, but the fact of the matter is that Elder de May is probably going to have to tack over towards the inside, and that's always just a little question mark in your mind. But for me, he is certainly the best horse in the race. He sets a standard. He's got 60 kilograms to carry, but he's earned that rating. He's earned that weight. For Kelp Forest, a lot of confidence around for the son of Flower Alley. He is a 5-time winner. He won over the track and trip last time when beating Barney McGrew by a couple of lengths, and there was a solid support for him on that occasion. And as you've mentioned, there's been a lot of anti-post support for him this time around. He was fitted with blinkers the first time last time, and they certainly worked a treat. The blinkers stay on. Grant Finnicke knows him very well. He's drawn on the right side of the track. But this is a huge step up in class. The average rating of his last win was a 75. He steps up to an 88. So it's a big test for number 4, Kelp Forest. But obviously, going up in class, he's got somewhat of a lighter weight to carry. He's down 6 kilograms in the weights. He carried 61.5 last time, and this time only 55.5. Whether he can match strides with number 13, Tenango, only the race will show. But I think the betting has got it just about right. Tenango's favourite and Kelp Forest's second favourite. Cork Bay is interesting, also drawn on the right side of the track. He was given a £4 penalty for running second to Arctic Wizard. I'm no great fan of horses getting penalties for getting beat, but he's still on the up, the son of Rafif. So number 3, Cork Bay, out of gate 3, should be competitive. Handsome Prince should run better. Forget his last run. He was fitted with blinkers on that occasion for the first time in his career. That certainly didn't work out. He's drawn in gate 2. If you judge him on his previous form, he's got to have a chance out of gate 2. Speed Racer has been disappointing in his last 2 starts. Oisin Murphy is in town, the UK champion, and he rides tough terrain. Very hard to catch tough terrain right, but he should be doing his best work late. Champagne Kisses comes in with a very light weight. And although also drawn towards the outside of the track, number 14, Dark Winter, now fitted with a tongue tie. Sean Veal rides, carrying 53 kilograms. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dark Winter get into the quartets. But Tenango, the top choice ahead of Kelp Forest. I wouldn't be looking for a significant result here. I think Tenango does set the standard.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's going to be a tough horse to beat in this contest. Just having a look at the opposition, he seems to be the right horse in the second race on the program. Race number 3 next. This is the start of the place accumulator, 1,000 meters the distance, 13:35 is the off time, and it is the Winchester Sprint Cup. Having a look at the market, Lion Rampart 5-2, 4-1. Question in 4-1 Kai Boy, 8-1 Luhamba Pambili, Mo Capitano, it's then 10-1 and better ball those. Now Vaughan Marshall, he's got a very strong hand in this race here with the top 2 in the market, but number 4 Kai Boy has got to be given the utmost respect in this race. He's got 3 kgs to play with Lion Rampart, and that could see him reverse the form, Graham.
This is a very, very, very good race. Interesting race. I've gone wide in the opening leg of the place accumulator, which is my bet of choice. I chatted to Vaughan Marshall yesterday as part of my preparation for this show. Lion Rampart is in a very, very good space, but Vaughan definitely believes he's better over 1,200 meters than he is over 1,000 meters, and Kai Boy could certainly have his measure. Mer Capitano was drawn on the wrong side when running disappointingly in the Merchants. I'm prepared to give him another chance. He's drawn much better on this occasion. Grant Finnicke takes the ride again. Grant knows him well, and I think there's a bit of class about number 5, Mer Capitano. So 56 kilograms, the 4-year-old carrying level weights with number 10, Lion Rampart. I would certainly put Mer Capitano ahead of Lion Rampart in the pecking order, not by much, but I would prefer number 5, Mer Capitano, over this distance. Kai Boy, as you've mentioned, is certainly also very, very progressive. He's a nice type. He's also son of One World, like number 10, Lion Rampart. His only start over track and trip yielded a victory. Questioning, I did question Vaughan about him. He's got 62 to shoulder. There's not much on offer in the program for questioning, and Vaughan does believe that perhaps this will be a little on the sharp side, but he's such a game top-class horse that he certainly cannot be left out of the reckoning. And then one other that I'd like to mention, is the very speedy number 7, Candy Town. Now, she carries 51.5. We saw a blitz out of the gates when beaten by Sia Pambili last time. That was her first start since May. She should have tightened up after that effort. And she's very, very fast. So they'll be chasing Candy Town down over the last couple of 100 meters. And, Andre Nell's stable is in very good form. So would I be surprised if Candy Town went pillar to post under a very low weight? She's at 14-1. I think she offers some each way value. But it's a very, very interesting and competitive race. My top choice would be number 5, Mer Capitano, ahead of number 4, Kai Boy, 7, Candy Town, and 10, Line Rampart. But they all have winning claims.
Yeah, what a race to begin the place accumulator. Looks exciting. And there's certainly going to be a cracking finisher. Candy Town, perhaps she could be the joker of the pack at 14-1 in the market, with Serena Woodley taking the ride at 51.5. Moving along to race number 4, this is a start of the carryover pick 6, 1 million rand carryover, likely pool of 5 million rand. And we begin with a grade 2 Cartier Stakes over 1200 meters. Favorite number 8, Gimmy's Countess, 2-1 into 16-10. No surprise to see this filly dropping back down in trip to the 1200 meters. Asia Pambili 33-10, 5-1 Symphony in White, Summer Lily at 7s. It's then 10-1 and Better Ball. Those now, Graham, I think that this will be a straight two-horse race between numbers 4 and 8. I think that Gimmy's Countess is a better sprinter than she is going over a mile and perhaps even 1400. And I think this could well be the right move from Dean Canamere to bring her back down in trip. And then Asia Pambili, well, she's a horse that has won a feature. She won the Poinsettia over 1200. That was a grade 3. And then it was a very, very good win last time out over the 1000-meter trip.
Look, I think I'm chairman of the Asia Pambili fan club. I really, really love this daughter of Water Winter. She's an imposing mare. I think she's in the form of her life. She ran second, narrowly beaten in this race last year. Beaten only a neck by October Morn, of course, went on to become a Grade 1 winner when winning the South African Filly Sprint. Richard Ferree retains the ride, and he's only ridden her twice and been in the winner's enclosure on both times. So from a place accumulator point of view, I've taken with my chances with number 4, Asia Pambili, and made her my place accumulator, one of 2 place accumulator bankers. But clearly I've healthy respect for the younger brigade. Number 8, Gimmy's Countess, as you say, returns to 1200 meters. The last time she ran over 1200 meters was in the Alan Robertson when she was desperately unlucky and narrowly beaten by Quid Pro Quo. So back to 1200 meters. Dean Canamere, I spoke to him as well. He believes that the tough Kenilworth 1200 meters will be right up her alley. She's in a good space back at home. She's come out of the Fillies Guineas in good form and in good shape. And he's expecting a really, really classy run from number 8, Gimmy's Countess. I know you've made it a boat race, and you're probably correct. While I've banked at number 4, Asia Pambili in the place accumulator, this is the first leg of the carryover pick 6. And while both numbers 4, Asia Pambili, and number 8, Gimmy's Countess are obvious inclusions, I'd be reluctant to ignore number 5, Symphony in White. She finished marginally in front of Gimmy's Countess in the Alan Robertson. I think she's also better over 1200 meters than she is over 14 and 1600 meters. And yet she certainly wasn't disgraced in the Western Cape Fillies Championship when a close third behind Mon Petit Cherie. And she wasn't disgraced over 1600 meters. I don't think she really got home over the mile. But nonetheless, she finished 4th, beaten only 4 lengths by Fatal Flaw. So coming back to the 1200 meters, I think Symphony in White is going to be competitive. And then Oisin Murphy rides number 11, Summer Lily. And since being fitted with blinkers, and she sports blinkers again, I think this filly's improved. She'll appreciate the step up to 1200 meters. She kind of got outpaced over the 1100 and 1000, being quite far back in the early stages of those races, but she was doing her best work late. She should be held, strictly speaking, she should be held by Asia Pambili, but Summer Lily can take another step forward. So from a pick 6 point of view, I respect that you make it a boat race, 4 and 8, but I would include numbers 5 and 11 in the opening leg of the carryover pick 6. But I'm happy to take my chances in the place accumulator with number 4, Asia Pambili.
4, 5, 8, 11 as wide as you possibly need to go in leg number 1 of that pick 6, carryover pick 6, as we've touched on. Race number 5 next up. This is set to be run over 1800 meters. 14.50 is the off time. This is a grade 2. Favourite here, number 6, Rascallion at 4-1. Number 8, Zapateus is at 5-1. It's 11-2 about triple time. Future Swing at 7-1. 10-1 about Without Question. Sugar Mountain, Magic Verse, it's then 12-1. And better ball those. Now, Graham, this horse, Rascallion, it was an absolutely fantastic win last time out when beating Zapateus. He's a win over Track and Trip, and given that he's a horse that's campaigned at the highest of grade 1s, I mean, this is the right type of race for him to go back-to-back in.
Rascallion, what you see is what you get, is a real soldier. The 7-year-old son of Vercingetorix is in a very good space heading into this race. He did run 5th in this race last year behind Mucho Dinero when he's a big price before going on to run 2nd in the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met. Now, obviously, the Met is his principal target, but this is an ideal preparatory race for him. He's in a very good space. Sean Veal has won on him before, and Sean Veal is also in fine form, not only in KZN, but also here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. So I think Rascallion safely sets a standard. But if you take the form of the last run, there's certainly not much to choose between Rascallion and number 8, Zapateus. Zapateus' form since being gelded is high class. He's also headed with a lively chance into the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met on the 25th of January. You have to like what you see over the last couple of runs. Since being gelded, he's run 3rd to questioning, 5th to questioning. Those were over shorter trips, and then 1,600 meters last time, as you mentioned, in the Cape Mile. He was narrowly beaten by Rascallion. Brett Crawford has a plan for number 8, Zapateus. He'll be very competitive. Now, when you look at this race, with a particular mind on jackpots and pick sixes, you've got to decide whether the race has the potential to throw an upset result. They are betting wide, so it is very competitive. You look at the best weighted column, headed by Rascallion and Zapateus. Are those two going to be enough to pull you through? Those are the two I've included in the place accumulator, and I'd be tempted to take my chances with the pair going into the pick six and the jackpots as well, although obviously you play multiple perms to try and get as much cover as you can. But Rascallion and Zapateus definitely my top two choices. If you were to head your bets, then I think Snaith holds the key with the likes of number 3, Triple Time, number 11, Rapidash, and number 12, Without Question. I like the way that number 12, Without Question, is being brought along nice and slowly. Rachel Vinegar knows him well. It's been 614 days since he last tasted victory. And again, his chief mission will be the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met on the 25th of January. But I'm expecting him to run quite a nice race here. The signs are there that he's coming to hand. He loves racing here in Cape Town. And we could see a bold showing from number 12, Without Question. There are a number of others that could surprise, but to cut it all short, I'm going to rely on number 6, Rascallion, and number 8, Zapateus, to get me through my principal perms. But as I say, you ignore the Snaith team at your peril, and Triple Time, Rapidash, Without Question, I think head the Snaith team. He's got more runners in the race than that. He's also got Future Swing in the race with Gene Murphy, and he's got Bakaya with Craig Zaki. So he's certainly made sure that he's got a high-quality team of jockeys riding his horses in this race. So it could produce an upset result, but I'm hoping that Rascallion and Zapateus will confirm the form of their last run. I have a slight preference for Rascallion, but wouldn't be surprised to see Zapateus turn him over.
Yeah, it's a race where we've got several different pieces of form on offer, but both Graham and myself, we believe that the Cape Mile form will stand up and be seen to the fore in race number 5. Moving along to race number 6, this is the Cartier Paddock Stakes. We move along into our grade 1s, and it is set to be run over 1,800 meters. 3 is the off time. It is the start of Jackpot 2. And Double Grand Slam tops the boards at 28-10. It is 28-10 Red Palace. Sarki at 6-1, who was terribly off colour last time out. 8-1 Raskova, Silver Sanctuary. And then it is 10-1 and Better Baldos. Now, Graham, I'm of the opinion that I'm not sure what happened last time out with Sarki. I mean, slow pace. She's the type of horse that needs a decent pace on in the race to quicken up off. And she was never ever going to quicken up off a slow pace. And I think now in this race where you've got, it's a bigger field, there's there's definitely going to be a speed on. I think that she's a value in the race at 6-1. I'm not convinced about double Grand Slam over 1800 meters. I'm not sure what your thoughts on that, but I think that Sarki is the right horse in the race, and I think that she'll turn the form around with double Grand Slam on that penultimate run, and in fact even Red Palace on that run in the gold bracelet.
This is a lovely, lovely race. It's not the highest quality renewal of the Cartier Stakes that we've ever seen, but it's an interesting race. As you've mentioned, double Grand Slam tops the betting boards. I think it's a lot more competitive than that. As you've alluded to, she was a good winner of the Summer Bowl over 1,600 meters. Will she go the extra 200 meters? That is the big question. She certainly cannot be faulted in the consistency department. She's seldom puts her foot wrong. She always produces a high-class run. There's never been much to choose between her and number 10, Raskova. Possibly over 1,800 meters, I'd slightly prefer the chance of number 8, Double Grand Slam, although she's never run over the trip. I sense that she should be able to get home over 1,800 meters. Whether she'll do so well enough to beat the other competitors in the race, that is open to question. You've picked out Sarki. Forget that last run. It wasn't just a slow pace. It was a ridiculously pedestrian pace, and she cast a shoe in running. Just pretend that race never happened and judge her like you are on the previous form. She's a very, very strong contender here for Grade 1 honours. Red Palace is interesting. Has her first start for Dean Kannemeyer. I phoned Dean yesterday to try and get a feel from him, because it's very, very difficult for any trainer bringing a quality Grade 1 performer into a race like this without having ever prepared her for another race previous. But he tells me she's in a very good space and her work is good. Perhaps that last run, which was way below par, was just, some horses do fall victim of the second run after rest syndrome. I'm never quite sure what to make of that theory, the second run after rest syndrome, but maybe it was just that saw her run below par. She's too good a filly to ignore, as you've mentioned. Her and Sarki ran first and second in the 2,000 meters gold bracelet back in July. Precious little to choose between them on best form. And Rahil, when it comes to these Grade 1 races, we've got to judge them on their best form. We've got to believe that the trainers have got them perfectly tuned for these high-class events. So I'm studying the race on the basis that they're all at their best. The one horse that I do think is flying under the radar is number 12, Silver Sanctuary. The draw doesn't help. Only been to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth once before. That was when she ran second, narrowly beaten by Beach Bomb in the Cape Phillies Guineas on the 2nd of December. That was last season. And Silver Sanctuary, Oisin Murphy rides for Mitre Cock. We're never quite sure what Silver Sanctuary is going to turn up. But if she turns up in fine fettle, then I do think that Silver Sanctuary has a better chance than her current odds would believe you have. Of the 3-year-olds, Little Susie and World of Alice, they're the only two 3-year-olds in the race. I think they're both interesting. World of Alice is going to appreciate stepping up further. She was a very, very good second behind Fatal Flaw in the Starling Stakes, and we saw Fatal Flaw come out and win the Cape Phillies Guineas. Then she stepped up to 1,600 meters on Summer Cup Day to beat Fiery Pegasus over a mile. And I can tell you that we'll only see the best of World of Alice when we get to 2,000 meters and perhaps even further. Little Susie, good run in the Phillies Guineas. She's out of a Met winner. She's got a 5-star pedigree. I know the 3-year-olds are flying under the radar. They're not considered to be serious contenders when you look at the anti-post market. But when you've got a filly by Trippy out of a Met winner who ran third in the Phillies Guineas, and the further she goes, the better she'll be, then you've got to take note of that. You've got to respect these two 3-year-olds. I wouldn't be surprised to see either of them blow the older opposition away. It's wide open. It's very competitive. I think you've got to throw many into the race. Sarki, you're entitled to make your top choice. Forget that last run. But I think this is a very, very competitive renewal of the Cartier Stakes. Double Grand Slam, in view of her consistency and high-quality form, probably deserves to be at the top of the boards. But I think it's a lot more competitive than the betting suggests.
Well, it's certainly going to be a very, very exciting Grade 1 contest over 1,800 meters. Race number 7 next up. This is the main event, the headliner, the Lomeran's King's Plate. Weight for age, Grade 1 over 1,600 meters. 4:10 is the off time. And there's no surprise to see One Stripe top the betting boards 5-2 into 2-1. Number 13, Snow Pilot at 4-1, along with number 3, Oriental Charm. Number 8, Seat Again, is at 6 to 1. Give Me a Prince at 10 to 1. It's then 16 to 1 and better for those. Now, Graham, this is an exciting race. One Stripe, he's captured the imagination. He's captured the hearts of many racing fans, and he's a horse that continues to go from strength to strength. And when you have a look at how the race could map out, I mean, he's a horse that sticks out like a sore thumb because the speed is going to be on. He's got a good gait. Gavin aboard, he's had the perfect prep into the race, and he no doubt sets the standard in this race. But Give Me a Prince is one horse that I'm going to include, and Great Plains is another that I'm going to include into the play, because when it comes to these big races, you need a lot of luck on your side. And perhaps it may be an unfortunate day for One Stripe, and it could be a lucky day for others, or things may just work out for One Stripe, and it could go all according to plan, and he could become a 6-time winner.
What a fantastic renewal of the 3 million rand Lawmerins King's Plate, one of the highlights of the South African racing calendar. It's a wonderful day, beautifully promoted by Gaynor Rupert and her team. And as I said earlier, a sea of blue and white will greet all racegoers as they arrive at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Now, we can't go wide in every race. We could spend a lot of time on this race. The form is there for all to see. They're all exposed. They've got their ratings. But like you, I'm going to nail my colours to the mast. I've looked at this race upside down, inside out. But I'm going to be in the camp of number 5, One Stripe. I'm going to close my eyes, tick the box, and hope that it all turns out. As you mentioned, in all of these races, you need a bit of luck on your side. But Gavin Larena knows him really, really well. He's had a perfect prep, as you've mentioned. He's super fit. Phoned Vaughan yesterday. He's got him in a beautiful space. He's oozing confidence. Vaughan has never, ever, despite a very, very long career in racing, has never, ever won the King's Plate. He's finished second on 2 occasions. So there's a lot on the line here for Vaughan Marshall. He'll hope to grab his first ever King's Plate winner with his very exciting 3-year-old One Stripe. Give Me a Prince. Almost you read my mind. Of the older horses, if I had to split the 3-year-olds from the older horses, number 10, Give Me a Prince, would be top of my list of the older horses in terms of the opposition. Not by much. Narrowly in front of Oriental Charm and Seed Again, who are obviously tough, seasoned campaigners, and you had to like the way that Oriental Charm came back to racing after winning the Hollywoodbets Durbanville July, when he went start to finish in the World Sports Betting Greenpoint Stakes. It was a bit of a gift race for him. There were a few runners. It didn't go hard, and he dictated from start to finish. As you've mentioned, there's going to be pace in this race. He's not going to have matters all his own way. It's going to be interesting to see whether Snow Pilot takes off for the lead from his wide gate and goes past Oriental Charm, and JP takes a seat on Oriental Charm, or if Richard is going to try and get across, but try and get a toe from Oriental Charm. So tactics are going to play a role. It's fantastic that Rachel Venniker, it's unfortunate for Pierre Stradham, and we wish him a speedy recovery, but Rachel Venniker gets her chance to win a major in South Africa. She rides See It Again. She knows the horse. She works with him every day, and she won on him back in November when he made his seasonal debut over Mile Beating Royal Victory. The quality is there for all to see. You mentioned Great Plains. Yes, he could get into the frame of the belief that One Stripe safely has his measure. Would I be surprised if Great Plains finished in one of the minor placings? No, I wouldn't. My top 2 choices are One Stripe ahead of number 10, Give Me a Prince, who I think is going to love returning to the longer straight on the summer course over 1,600 meters. He's also had a fantastic prep. He's flying at home. You have to always have respect for Oriental Charm and See It Again. That would be the list of potential winners. Snow Pilot, I have to be honest, from that wide gate, I know he's been very impressive, 1,400 meters. He goes the extra 200 meters. He certainly has done so successfully in the past. He's a former winner of the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas. And you have to have a measure of respect for him as well, because he's grown into a very strong, imposing 4-year-old, has Snow Pilot. There's lots to like about him physically. But we've gone wide in the Paddock Stakes. We've probably gone wide in 1 or 2 of the other races. You can't go wide everywhere. Somewhere you've got to nail your colours to the mast. I'm happy to take my chances, to take it on the chin. I'm throwing my eggs into the One Stripe basket in my principal perms. But like you, I do have healthy respect for 10, Give Me a Prince.
Yeah, Give Me a Prince could be the value in the race at 10 to 1 in the market. The the way he ran on last time out would indicate that he'll be able to get the 1600 meter trip quite comfortably once again, and let's see how he goes. But One Stripe, no doubt the horse to beat. Moving along to race number 8, this is the last of our graded races on the day. It is set to be run over 2,500 meters. Glorious Goodward Chairman's Cup, a grade 3. 16:45 is the off time, and number 6 Love is a Rose tops the boards here at 7-2. Number 7 Damio at 4-1. Holding Thumbs at 9-2. 6-1 Navy Strength, 7-1 Future Pearl. It's 8-1 Mucho De Niro, and then it is double figure odds about the balance. Graham, it's always tricky when you go in over these testing trips, especially over 2,500 meters. But what's your thoughts here? I know you like roughing the race.
Well, firstly, of course, you've got to respect the fact that it's a 12-kilogram spread of weight, so it's going to be tough on those carrying the big weights. The top weight is Future Pearl. He's, of course, a high-class stayer, but desperately out of form and seems to reserve his best for champion season in KwaZulu-Natal. I could be seriously embarrassed in this race, Rahil. I've been waiting. I think I've mentioned this before, for number 10, King Palace, to go over ground. So here he steps up to 2,500 meters. He's got lots of stamina on both sides of his pedigree. He's a half-brother to a Derby winner. I'm not put off by the fact that he ran disappointingly over 1,600 meters last time out. I'm encouraged by the fact that Atendiwe Mgutwa flies into town to ride number 10, King Palace, for Gareth Van Sale. I think he's at a huge price. If you consider the fact that there's not much to choose on past and not too long ago, quite recent form between 7 Damio and 10 King Palace, and Damio is co-favorite at 4-1 and King Palace is at 14-1. I make number 10, King Palace, my first choice in the race and the value bet of the day. I have little doubt that he's going to get home over 2,500 meters. In fact, there's every possibility, based on his pedigree, that he's going to show even better form over this kind of trip. But like I said, when you stick out your neck in races like these with horses at big prices, you always run the risk that your head is going to get chopped off. Well, I'm happy to take that risk. I'm in the camp of number 10, King Palace. Certainly not a one-horse race. There are many with chances, but at 14-1, I've already got myself involved, and I'm likely to get further involved. Now, with all of that being said, if you like King Palace, you've obviously got to like number 7, Damio. Josh Solomon's got a lovely tune out of him last time, under 50 kilograms, over the track and trip when winning the Will Lavington. So it could be a copy and paste here for number 7, Damio. I think there's little doubt that Damio is going to go to the front and adopt the same sort of tactics. Holding Thumbs and Love is a Rose are holding their form well and are also nicely weighted to be there and thereabouts. Not much to choose between Damio, King Palace, Holding Thumbs, and Love is a Rose at the weights. I'm going to throw in number 1, Mucho De Niro. I know he's got 60 kilograms to shoulder. He's giving away a lot of weight, but I'm reminded of the fact that this time last year, he kind of reeled off 4 victories in a row. And there was lots to like about his last start. His seasonal debut on the 14th of December in the Peninsula Handicap, when he was doing his best work late. He loves the trip. He's won over the similar distances. He won the Will Lavington over 2,400 meters last season. Of course, it's going to be a tough task at the weights, but he does come well this time of the year. And if he finds that kind of form, then Mucho De Niro should be seen to good advantage in the closing stages. Whether he can match strides with the lighter weights, that's going to be a real test for him, and only the race will show. Navy Strength has some kind of a chance, but he's a tough ride. He doesn't seem to want to get his act together. He did us a good turn when beating King Palace over 1,800 meters, because we were strongly in the camp of Navy Strength that day. He drifted unbelievably from 9-2 to 16-1. We got all kinds of odds on Navy Strength that day, and I followed up with him last time over 2-5 behind Holding Thumbs, but he was ultra disappointing in the sense that he just battles to get going. So this is obviously very open. The race will be I think we'll be run at a really decent pace. I think Damio will go out there and make it a true run race. The likes of Holding Thumbs, Love is a Rose, obvious claims, but I'm excited to see how King Palace goes over this extended trip.
Yep, King Palace 12-1 in the market, and let's see if he is able to get home over 2,500 meters. Could be a great find on the day from Graham. Moving along to race number 9, final race on the day. This is a middle stakes over 1,400 meters. 5:20 is the off time, and here number 15 Garrick stops the boards at 18-10. Let it be said, 5-1. Otaniqua, who ran an absolute cracker in the Guineas last time out. He is at 7-1. Oliver at 10-1, along with Aspect, and then it is 12-1 and better by those. Now, Graham, this horse, Garrix, he's got his work cut out from gate number 15, so it's going to be interesting to see what tactics they adopt with this horse, whether they try to get him across and get him into a nice position, or they just drop him out. But I think that it's not a one-horse race. I think there's horses that can get involved here, and number 2, Otaniqua, is one of them, and number 3, Sail the Seas. I'm forgiving him for his last start and judging him on his previous form. I think both these horses are big players.
I think Sail the Seas is very much alive, and from a nice draw should go well. As you say, forget his run in the Guineas. He's back to the sort of class he'll make his presence felt. I'm going to sit on the fence with Otaniqua. I know he ran 4th in the Guineas. He was well beaten. Something had to run 4th. He was raised 11 pounds as a result of that 4th placing, from a rating of 97 to 108. Sometimes the handicappers get it right, and sometimes we as pundits get it right. So I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying I'm going to sit on the fence with Otaniqua. I want to see him confirm in this sort of class the fact that he's can cope with an 11-point rating, particularly in a field that is as competitive as this, because he's up against Sail the Seas, Let It Be Said, as you mentioned, Garrix, and then the old soldier Oliver, who's in the form of his life and has got an incredible record over this track and trip. Now, Garrix, if he was better drawn, I would think he might well be in the red in a race like this. But the fact of the matter is, as you pointed out, he's got 15 gate to overcome. Richard Ferree's a master in the saddle, but he's going to have to be ridden for luck. I don't see Garrix going forward. I might be wrong in that. Certainly, look at the pattern of racing in his first 3 starts. There's nothing there to suggest he's going to go forward. So maybe Richard is going to look to give him a chance and let him finish off his race well. That's all good and well, but then you need a bit of luck on your side. Now, Let It Be Said has beaten Garrix before, but that was when Garrix was making his debut. But I do believe Let It Be Said is going to be very competitive. He ran 2nd to Otaniqua last time out in a Class 4 handicap, and on that occasion he received 2 kilograms from Otaniqua. Now he receives 7.5, and that's why I mentioned the height in ratings for Otaniqua. If you take the last run at face value, there is no way in the world that Otaniqua can beat Let It Be Said. That's certainly on paper, but as we know, races are not run on paper. I do think that number 3, Sail the Seas, represents a very good opportunity for Oisin Murphy to round off his visit to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth in good style. Don't ignore number 9, Oliver. I know he's gone up in the ratings, but when a horse is at his supreme best over track and trip, you can expect another very honest run for him. Let It Be Said, my marginal first choice ahead of number 15, Garrix. Then number 3, Sail the Seas, and number 9, Oliver. Those are my top 4 in preference. But I'm going to rely on Let It Be Said and Garrix to get me through the final leg of the place accumulator. Certainly as far as the final leg of Jackpot 2 is concerned, the final leg of the carryover pick 6, I think you've got to go a little wider and include those horses you mentioned. And yes, for safety's sake, throw in number 2, Otaniqua. Despite my misgivings, you've got to throw Otaniqua. In fact, I'd also include Hat's Bride into the pick 6. So pick 6 for me, a workable shortlist would include the likes of number 1, Hat's Bride, 2, Otaniqua, 3, Sail the Seas, 6, Let It Be Said, 9, Oliver, and then, of course, 15, Garrix. That would be the workable shortlist. But it depends how you structure the other legs because, like I said, the perm cost multiplies up very, very quickly. You can't go wide in every race. You've got to take your chances somewhere along the line.
Yeah, just looking at it now as well, number 4, Tour Fair could well be a chance. Also at 25-1 in the market with Rachel Venica aboard. If you like Oliver, well then this horse comes into the play because he's nicely weighted with a 1.5 off the back. But a very, very trappy race to wrap up proceedings down in the Western Cape on Lomoran's King's Plate. So we're going to move along to the suggested bet. And Graham will take us through his suggested bet for racing on Saturday. And it is a place accumulator that begins with the running of race number 3 at 13.35. And Graham, take it away.
Yeah, the first leg is the Winchester Sprint Cup over 1,000 metres. Maybe I'm overcomplicating the race, but I'm going pretty wide with numbers 4, Kai Boy, 5, Mer Capitano, the speedster number 7, Candy Town, and number 10, Lion Rampart, who would have been my natural first choice had this been over 6 furlongs, but he could be vulnerable over the minimum trip of 1,000 meters. Happy to bank a number 4, Asia Pambili, in the second leg, the Cartier Stakes. But obviously, you've got to go a little bit wider than that, as we've discussed in the first leg of the pick 6. Third leg of the place accumulator. Going to take my chances with number 6, Rascallion, and 8, Zapatilis. There's always the potential for an upset in the Premier Trophy, but I'm hoping the cream rises to the top, and that Rascallion and Zapatilis will be enough to get me through the place accumulator. Then going 3, 7, 8, and 12 in the Cartier Paddock Stakes. Sarki, Red Palace, Double Grand Slam, and Silver Sanctuary. Bankering number 5, One Stripe, in the 3 million rand Lawrence King's Plate. Then numbers 1, 7, and 10 in the glorious Goodward Chairman's Cup. Throwing mucho dinero in as a measure of respect, along with the lightweights, number 7, Damio, and number 10, King Palace. And then closing out with number 6, Let It Be Said, and 15, Garrix. It's a competitive end to a good day's racing, quality day's racing, but I'm hoping that one of the two of them, if not both, will get into the top 3. But there are others with winning claims, as we've discussed, in particular number 3, Sail the Sea. So that's my suggested place accumulator, Perm. It's going to be a very competitive day's racing under bright blue skies, mid-temperatures in the mid-20s, a beautiful day for racing, and there's no other place to be on Saturday the 4th of January other than Hollywoodbets Kenilworth if you're somewhere in the vicinity.
Yep, 192 rand for a full unit of that place accumulator. And it all begins in race number 3. Graham, thanks very much. It's going to be a fantastic day's racing, and I can't wait for the action to get underway.
Indeed, Rahil, it's going to be fabulous, and I think that we're in for a real treat at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Thanks again, Rahil.
All the best with racing on Saturday out at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth.